So good morning, class. So for today, we'll be talking about the four graph quadrants, and I'll be your teacher for today, which is Victor Serratos. So moving on. So before we start, we have the learning objectives. So at the end of the lesson, the student should be able to first to recognize and label the four quadrants of a graph, including quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Second is to interpret and analyze the coordinates of points within each quadrant and understanding the relationship between the signs of the x and y coordinates and the corresponding quadrant. And lastly is we have gained proficiency in plotting points on a graph within the correct quadrant based on given coordinate values. So this objective includes accurately determining the appropriate quadrant and placing the points accordingly. So proceeding. So unsa din ang four graph quadrants? So four graph quadrants is the two lines on the Cartesian plane form four graph quadrants. So in this section, we'll discuss the graph quadrants definition and define each part of the plane. So, what is the definition of quadrant? So a quadrant is one of the four sections on a Cartesian plane. So each quadrant includes a combination of positive and negative values for x and y axis. So there are four graph quadrants that make up the Cartesian plane. So each graph quadrant has a distinct combination of a positive and negative values. So we have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So here are the graph quadrants and their values. So quadrant 1, so the first quadrant is in the upper right hand corner of the plane. So both x and y have positive values in this quadrant. And second, which is quadrant 2, so the second quadrant is in the upper left hand corner of the plane. So x has a negative values in this quadrant and y has positive values. So third one is quadrant 3. So the third quadrant is in the bottom left corner. Both x and y have negative values in this quadrant. And lastly, we have the quadrant 4. So the fourth quadrant is in the bottom right corner. X has positive values in this quadrant and y has negative values. So graph quadrants diagram. So para mas masabtan jud nato no kung asa jud ang quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. So in this diagram, you can see the four graph quadrants along with whether or not x and y are positive or negative. So makita nato no ang quadrant 1 is at the top right corner, which is both positive, and quadrant 2 which is at the top left corner, which is negative and positive, and quadrant 3 which is at the bottom left corner, which is both negative, and quadrant 4 which is at the bottom right corner, which is positive and negative. So proceeding, so we have the graph quadrant numbers. So numbers are plotted on the graph quadrants in what are known as ordered pairs. So an ordered pair consists of two values, x and y. So in ordered pair, x is always the first value. So timaan na permi nga ang ang first value sa ordered pair is x and y is always the second value. So in the ordered pair 5 and negative 2, so for instance 5 is the x value and negative 2 is the y value. So when plotting an ordered pair, so the x value refers to the pair horizontal position on the graph, the y value refers to the vertical position. So makita nato diri sa picture. So see how the pair 5 and negative looks when plotted. So makita nato, so since 5 is at the x-axis, positive 5, so na siya dari dapita, and y is in the the negative 2 is in the y-axis, so dahil siya padung sa ubos, so naa siya sa quadrant 4. Then proceeding ta sa example sa quadrant. So graph quadrants example problem. So using the following graph quadrant diagram, so identify the quadrants for the following ordered pairs. So we have the first ordered pair, which is negative 9, negative 9 and 11, second pair which is 4 and 8, and the third pair which is negative 3 and negative 4. So let's start with negative 9 and 11. So negative 9 in the x-axis is located at the left side. And the pair which is 11, so padung siya sa babaw, so na siya makita sa quadrant 2. So mo na to answer which is quadrant 2. And the second one, so 4 and 8, so 4 is in the in the x-axis is on the right side, and 8 which is padung sa babaw ang y, so na siya sa quadrant 1. And the third one, which is negative 3 and negative 4, so both negative is located at the quadrant 3. So we have the assessment. So first we have to identify whether the pair x and y values is located in quadrant 1, 2, or 3, or 4. So first is in which quadrant can be seen the pair -2 and -3. Second is which quadrant can be seen the pair 5 and 4. And third number, which is in which quadrant can be seen the pair -6 and 8. So test 2, we have true or false. So the pair 2 and -3 is located in quadrant 1. The second one is the pair -5 and 4 is located in quadrant 2, and the pair -6 and -8 is located in quadrant 3. So that ends our lesson for today.